What I did on my vacation. Homeroom 302, Mr. Boardman. What I Did on My Vacation by Lily Madwhip. If I had to pick one word to describe the summer, it would be crazy. 3 things that stood out about my summer vacation are I adopted a new pet turtle, the fireworks at the Common, and my family reunion. Describe your 3 things in detail. Well, first I got a new pet turtle. He's an eastern box turtle. I named him Donatello. My mom helped me pick out a tank for him and we filled it with water and put a big rock for him to sun himself on. I made Donatello a little mask to wear out of a purple ribbon because I'm training him to be a ninja turtle. And my dad made me take it off because he said turtles don't wear masks and he can't see. I am training Donatello to fight crime. I made him a bow staff out of a twig. Right now he can't pick it up because he's got no thumbs. Sometimes he chews on his staff. He might be able to use it with his mouth, but I think he's too young. Turtles can live from 50 to 100 years, but ninja turtles have lower life expectancy because of the dangers of crime fighting. Donatello does not like pizza like other ninja turtles. He eats little grubs and spinach. My mom says he eats better than I do. I eat pizza though, so I think I'm a better ninja turtle than Donatello is. I look forward to him growing up with me and adopting some more turtles and forming a team of crime-fighting turtles. Second, for the 4th of July, they set up a fireworks showdown at the Common. That's a park in the center of town. Lots of people came. My mom, my brother Roger, and me all went and sat at the top of Garrison Hill. My dad couldn't sit with us because he plays keyboard in a band with some other people. They were keeping everybody entertained until the fireworks started. Roger saw a couple of his friends and went and sat with them, so it was just me and my mom. I would sit with my friends too, but my best friend Rachel isn't friends with me anymore. My only friend is Pasher. We sat around for hours until it got dark. We wouldn't have gone so early, but my mom wanted to be supportive for my dad and his band. It's not his band really, but he plays in it, so I call it his because I don't think they have a name. They're just the band. He always says he's going to be busy because the band has to practice. At about 8 o'clock, I told my mom I was feeling sick to my stomach. She said we should wait and see because we had all driven there together. She didn't want to drive me home and then have to come back and get Dad and Roger. And I said we should just get them both and all go. Mom refused to interrupt the band, so while she was talking to another friend, I snuck away and went to the bandstand. Dad was in the back on his keyboard. I waited until they took a break between songs and then tugged on his pants and told him I needed help finding Mom because she had wandered off. He hadn't seen where we sat down, so I showed him a different part of the hill and we walked around looking for Mom who was on the other side. But thankfully, my dad went with me because there was an accident with the fireworks display. Someone working the show caught a spark in the eye and knocked over one of the other launchers. The fireworks got set off and went toward the bandstand where everybody cleared out, and there was a bunch of screaming and shouting. The whole bandstand burned down and Dad's keyboard got destroyed. Mom was in a panic when we finally found her, but she was relieved to see me and Dad were all right. Roger came back later and said it was the greatest fireworks he'd ever seen. Dad was upset because he lost his keyboard. But the craziest thing I had happen this summer was at my family reunion. Every year, my dad's brother, Uncle George, invites us to join them for a week at his log cabin. The camp is by a lake. Uncle George and Aunt Harriet have a daughter, Susie, who's almost the same age as Roger. Susie and Roger usually do stuff together and leave me to draw or catch tadpoles. I also go down to the beach and dig for Jawas and Yodas. See, I used to have some Star Wars toys, but I made them sand huts on the beach and dug deep tunnels for them to hide in. And then I got called in for lunch. We had hot dogs. When I came back out, the tunnels and huts were washed flat by the waves. I never found any of my toys, but I know they're down there somewhere, so every year I dig for them. The camp has an ATV, which is like an adult-sized big wheel. Roger and Susie ride around on it all the time. Mom goes berry picking with Aunt Harriet. Dad and Uncle George drink and talk about stuff, like what life was like back when they were kids. I'm not allowed to sit and listen, so they just make me go draw or dig Jawa holes. This year, Uncle George borrowed a motorboat from someone down the shore and was letting Roger and Susie try out water skiing. That's like skiing, except there's no snow and you wear a bathing suit instead of snow pants. I was building sandcastles on the shore and digging for Jawas and Yodas, but the waves the boat made kept melting my castles and filling my Jawa holes. After a half hour, I realized something bad was going to happen, so I called for them to stop, but they kept going. I made up reasons to get Uncle George to come ashore, but they couldn't hear me over the sound of the motorboat. I remember Roger was sitting in an inner tube, waiting for his turn on the skis. Susie was on the skis, trying to stay upright, but her foot must have slipped or something and she bailed out. Uncle George turned the boat around and went to pick her up, but she had swam toward the boat, so instead of getting alongside her, he ran over her with the boat. There was like this loud thump and then a sound like a garbage disposal, and then there was a lot of yelling and screaming. Uncle George started yelling and Roger was screaming. Susie wasn't yelling or screaming, she was just floating there in the water, sort of getting pulled behind the boat a bit. Dad came running down from the camp. When he saw what happened, he ran back up and called for help on the phone. He dragged me along with him so I wouldn't see, but I already saw. Dad made me run to go find Mom and Aunt Harriet, who were supposed to be berry picking, but they were actually sitting in the berry bushes smoking. Aunt Harriet flipped out when she heard what happened, and so did Mom, but not quite as bad. An ambulance went by while we were running back to the camp. Aunt Harriet and Uncle George went with the ambulance and Susie to the hospital, but everybody knew she wasn't going to make it. Mom and Dad insisted on us gathering our stuff and getting over to the hospital to be with them. I had to pick up my stuff on the beach so it wouldn't wash away, and I saw the lake foam was kind of pink, and one of Susie's fingers washed up on my sandcastle lump. I didn't touch it, but I told Dad and he put it in an ice cooler to take with us. So my cousin Susie died on our family reunion. We went to her funeral. Everyone cried, even Roger. Susie got cremated, which means they burned her up into ashes rather than bury her. I guess to save space. Uncle George and Aunt Harriet took the ashes back to the camp and they sprinkled them on the stump that Susie and Roger always used to like to play around when they were little. It was raining, so even the sky was crying. I wanted to say that God must be crying for Susie, but Uncle George is an atheist, which means he doesn't believe in stuff like God, so I didn't say anything. What are you looking forward to this school year? This school year? I hope to make some new friends. Pastor says friends are important. For show and tell, I'm going to bring in my turtle Donatello. He bites, so my mom says I have to make forms for people to sign if they want to try to touch him. She says I don't want to get sued. Also this year, I'm hoping to build my Ninja Turtle army. My Uncle George gave me a real valuable Pokemon card that belonged to Susie, and maybe I can sell it to buy a bigger tank and adopt 3 more turtles.
Hey there kids, and happy holidays. It's me, MrCreepyPasta, and I just wanted to tell you guys thank you for watching tonight's video. If you enjoy watching videos here on YouTube, then you should check out the MrCreepyPasta Storytime podcast, which is available on Spotify, and on iTunes, and on Google Play, and everywhere like that. If you enjoy listening to MrCreepyPasta's Storytime podcast, you'll enjoy watching it on YouTube, because it's the same show. You guys are both hearing the exact same thing at the exact same time. Also, thank you guys for supporting me on Patreon or on Popbase. You guys who are the top supporters on Patreon especially, thank you so much. Like Joey Gilbert, Jordan Alexander Sanchez, Wayne Milstead, Chambinski, Ken Lando Higuchi, Brianna Van Tine-Janzen, Stephen Van Huss, Tristan Pelton, G Weevil 3, Diana Kraus, Asia, the Red Oak Shield Virus, Sandy Barney, Nico Kyle, Caleb Dougal, Daniel Paulson, Dante Rao, Last Blade Song, The Ginger Bros, Don Mulemeister, Eliminator 86, Nebsky, Finley E. Hopkins, Steampunk Sinner, Rafael Rodriguez, Optimistic Avocado, and Dr. Strawberry. Everyone there, as well as in the description down below. Thank you guys so much. If you'd like to also follow me on Popbase, where you can get a couple of different updates here and there and play games along with me, then you can do so on your phone. It's on Android and on Apple. And if you guys are looking for something like a hot beverage, such as, say, a tea, for the cold winter months, then my wife is still selling teas over at etsy.com/shop/ ivory monocle tea, including a MrCreepyPasta tea that has me on it, dabbing. Don't actually, if you do order that tea, request that sticker, because we made it, but she didn't want me to put it on the tea because she said it wasn't professional. I think it's whatever. Check back throughout the entirety of the holiday season for more horror stories every single day. Forever. Sweet dreams, kids.